Welcome back, 2014 PSP Chicago Open. Man, can't wait for this game. Right now, Tampa Bay Damage taking on upTon 187 Crew. Both of these guys have already played one. upTon 187 Crew is 0-1, and Tampa Bay Damage won a really close one against Houston Heat. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Todd Martinez and Chris Lasoya. The action begins in just about 15 seconds. Look at the Tampa Bay Damage on your screen right now. They got Ramzi Al-Yusuf, Chad Bouzier, Dan Holliday, Dalton Vanderbilt, and Jason Edwards getting the start for them. On the flip side, 187 Crew, Greg Lazat, Thomas Mantoni, Eddie Painter, Matt Jarula, and Dan Zaleski. Here we go. On the breakout, there's 187 Crew. Rather conservative breakout. They do break out wide on the D side. I think he might have got clipped. Ref's going to get in there and check him out, and he's clean. So 5 players alive for upTon 187 Crew, at least initially, but then they start to lose bodies. Looks like 1 dropping from both teams as Dan Holliday got shot for damage. Looks like 3 dying.
And here's that move you're talking about. Number 7 coming from the back bunker. Chad Bouzier coming all the way down the field with that burst of speed, Matty, you talked about.
Well, his burst speed is ridiculous, and that's why they put him on the snake. They pulled him off the D side, put him on the snake because of that burst speed. He's actually playing the 2 back there, which is not his normal position. He's normally the 1 on the D side, but he's versatile, very experienced, and Dan Holliday is such a speed demon that it makes a lot of sense. But the reason you got a guy like Chad is so he can do what he just did. They lose Holliday, but then they shoot some guys out of their spots, and Chad's able to take advantage of his physical gifts and get that burst of speed, get it onto 187 side of the field, and get it done. So nice quick point there by Tampa Bay Damage.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Damage, you know, definitely utilizing the wheels that they got over here on the snake side. You know, we saw that in the first game against Heat. You know, just taking that snake on the break game after game after game, and you know, if nobody's going to take it away from you, then you know, you might as well keep taking it. So you know, definitely take what you give. You always want to impose your will in paintball. You know, be the aggressor and get out there and use your gun to control people. You know, check out this replay real quick. Here's when he came to get Chad Bouzier. Chad comes all the way down, gets into the snake, and here you're going to see, there he is, getting that shot in, and then going to go to work and shoot those last 2 bodies across the field.
Yeah, but the burst speed we were talking about, like, I think if I was to run against him, I think I'd probably take 4 steps to every one of his strides.
You had good burst speed. That would made you a weapon back in the day.
By back in the day, I mean when I was younger, so yes. I appreciate that.
Well, when both knees go, you know, there's not much you can do at that point other than, you know, commentate. You know what I'm saying?
I got nothing. All right. Back to you, Matty.
Back when the webcast was in black and white.
UHF?
Oh, man.
You had to get the rabbit ears.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, still, like we talked about before, these 2 teams are matching up pretty decently. I'm kind of interested to see what 187 does. It looks like they're kind of adapt what they started to finish with against Dynasty. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Well, 187, man, look, no quarter given, none asked for out there. It's tough. So 187 is going to have to continue to elevate their skills to contend with these teams. You know, your first day is Damage and I'm sorry, Dynasty and Damage. Those are your first 2 games. Well, you know, I hope you practiced a lot and you're ready for this. And upTon 187 Crew did get some good practices in before this, but it's just one of those things. The road's long out there. But as shown by teams like, look at Aftershock. Aftershock took 3rd at the last event. They're definitely, you know, becoming one of those outside long shot favorites. But they've taken divisional level players, picked up a couple vets, and it started to make magic. So we'll see how well Shock does later this afternoon. Another one of the Planet Eclipse staple teams like upTon 187 Crew. Actually, they actually have a team gun this year too at Geos. Pretty sick. Look at this, tripling up. The back center. I don't know
if I actually agree with that.
It worked. He made it out. Let's see if they can get the other guy out. Trailer tries to get out wide. He does get out, so able to make it work. But looks like Keith Brown in the snake for Damage on your screen right now.
Thomas Mantoni taking the walk for upTon 187 Crew, trying to make out to that corner. But there's Keith Brown holding down the corner, Matty.
Yeah, well, Keith Brown's locked in that lane, and he's definitely got a back player, but no one is in the snake with him. So, you know, Keith Brown has to get across that gap. And no one is really shooting that gap cross field. So, but yeah, just locked in that zone. These are the players he's looking at right now. That's the snake back line for upTon 187 Crew. Not a lot of forward movement from them currently, but they do have bodies. So they're only dropped 1. Just Thomas Mantoni. He got shot by Jacob Edwards.
And there's on your screen number 31 right there for Tampa Bay Damage. Jacob Edwards trying to make something happen, but losing his player right in front of him. Todd.
Yeah, Brian Smith getting shot out of that Dorito 1. Upset, he's walking off. So Keith Brown now getting the help right behind him of Paul Everett, who comes into Snake 2, who's pointing at a player downfield. I think he's talking about the can. Referee gonna run in there and check him. Is he still alive? Eddie Painter in this Snake Temple. Jacob Edwards and Timmy Probst in the cans for damage. There's Derula getting a check by the referee, and the referee gonna pull him out. And I think he did get shot in the pack as he dove into the snake. I think Paul Everett was actually calling that one. But 2 bodies left alive over here now for upTon 187. Dan Zaleski fighting out of the can. Eddie Painter in the Snake Side Temple coming up over the top high. Zaleski trying to work the Snake players on the inside. Tampa Bay Damage. There's their 2 Snake players. There's Everett and Brown on the right. Brown just looking across the field. Everett protecting Brown. Here comes Dan Zaleski. And Dan Zaleski, does he get a shot in on Brown? He does not. He did catch Everett sleeping.
Yeah, he came from real far, but it tried it out, didn't work. Eddie Painter gets shot out of his spot. Here comes Keith Brown trying to put another point on that scoreboard for Tampa Bay Damage. And he's got Paul Everett right behind him, Timmy Probst behind him. And Jacob Edwards getting across the field on the D side. So just 1 body had dropped for Tampa Bay Damage as Zaleski got a shot on Brian Smith, but not enough, obviously. So with 16:08 to go here, the score 2-0.
You know, what a good play right there. Nice slow controlled push, protecting your players like we saw right there when Keith Brown was getting protected. But he did catch him sleeping for 1 second, and Zaleski did make a good move getting up the field. Unfortunately for him, he just couldn't get the shot in on. I think he just blew the shot because he had the angle. So unfortunately, I mean, but it was a good move in my opinion. But then everybody dying behind him didn't help the situation either.
It's tough. It was kind of one of those, well, I got to try something. And he almost got it, but not enough. So upTon only able to score 1 point so far today here. But, they still got a lot of game left here, a lot of time left, obviously, as we just got a start here. And definitely a shout out to our stats crew from the tower over there, cataloging and categorizing everything. Who shoots who. And go to paintballaccess.com, check out all the historical stats for past couple seasons. And, the race for Top Gun has definitely gotten closer. Let's check out this Planet Eclipse replay here. As look at this move. That's Zaleski coming from that back stand-up, and he almost got all the way. Brown's like, whoa. Oh, my God, where did this guy come from? Here it is from the flip side. Yeah, he almost made it to that bunker. And he ran a good route, too. He blocked it out, ran straight at the temple. He didn't overcommit. That's what you want to see. I mean, even if it doesn't work out, you want to see a guy run a good route.
Yeah, and he's always been one of those players that does take good routes. I mean, he's one of the premier standout players for me that I had seen last year, and he's up and coming, very, very much so.
I totally agree with you, and I really think that, so even this year, too, Zaleski has done really well for 187. He's definitely one of those guys that it's important for Zaleski to play well for 187. He's in crucial spots. He's one of their go-to guys, and he needs to produce for them, man, if they want to do well. So now they run. Looks like they try to take Zaleski all the way to the snake off the break, but he gets taken out. So body dropping early here. And then here comes Dan Holliday past the 50-yard line. Holliday's going to potentially have a cross-field shot on that back corner bunker on the D side. And bodies just peeling off left and right for upTon 187 crew. Haven't quite got this field down yet here. Tampa Bay Damage looking pretty flawless. Haven't lost a body yet at this point. And the multi-leveled attack from these top teams, Todd, that's a lot of T's. But it's just interesting how these guys are staggering. It's like the standard staggered attack. I'm trying to just alliterate as much as possible right now.
I'm mad.
Is it working?
It's working. It's working.
But anyways, what I'm saying, Todd, is that when you have guys playing off each other so well that way, it's great to see as a fan. It's great to see as a coach because it's basically a barrage of punches, and it's really hard to deal with that, especially when you're losing bodies and you're playing on your heels.
Yeah, and to your point, it's like, to win, like I think it was Monville's interview. Monville was like, once everybody gets out there and starts playing well, and starts playing like a team, then you do a lot better. Mm-hmm. And it's like when with this type of layout, you know, there's so much more going on because it's so much more of a read and react field. You know, when high-level players are really on top of their game, you know, they're shooting guys looking, moving, talking, you know. And then, like, when you get a lot of high talented players in those situations and they're all playing at the top of their game, then, you know, it's just a really beautiful thing to see. And Tampa Bay Damage is a group of guys that have been together for a really long time, that they understand how the guys around them play, and they can see when guys like that get in their zones, you know, and then they start to feel it, and that helps other guys get in their zones. You know, it's another part of teamwork and being a team and having that that relationship, you know. So, you know, Tampa Bay Damage, you know, we already saw Dynasty this morning do it to 187. Tampa Bay Damage, I think this game's helping them get a little bit more in their groove because they had a grinder this morning against Houston Heat. So I feel like, you know, we're starting to see it a little bit more here right now from Tampa Bay Damage, and, you know, this may help them in their 2 games tomorrow that they're going to have when they play against Dynasty as well as X Factor.
So here we go. On this next breakout, upton 187 cRew, they have to put a point on the board here to stand a chance. A lot of time left, but they are still losing bodies on the break, and upton 187 cRew is really going to go back to the drawing board on their breakout plans here, as they are just getting beat up off the break here constantly. It happened to them against Dynasty as well too, so not able to fix that problem. Damage was probably watching that game for sure, saw what Dynasty was able to do, and they are just dishing out beatings off the break. 15:06 to go here. Full command of the field. Tampa Bay Damage finally losing a body. Brian Smith coming off that D side.
And you just look at Keith Brown. He's playing actually really good over here on this side of the field. Like, I mean, him, Ryan Moorhead, and here comes Chad Boucher.
Yeah, or that was Paul Everett.
I'm sorry, Paul Everett. I can't see that far. But Keith Brown just playing amazing. He's looking fast, too, out here.
Well, Brown's always been fast. It's his consistency and composure that have kind of been, you know, one of those things he needed to work on. Kind of emotional when he gets shot sometimes. That's good. I don't mind that as long as it doesn't eat away at your confidence. But yeah, Brown's looking good right now, man. I mean, the only flaw at all was that one major he got,
right.
And that was, you know, one of those that was a controversial call.
Yeah.
So
I feel like Keith Brown, it's like the nice guys. You know, he's such a nice kid. I feel like he gets hosed on a lot of penalties, you know, or gets thrown in the box on other people's penalties. Yeah. I think that kind of hurts him sometimes, you know. Sometimes may not be his fault. But gotta love the way he plays, you know, pedal to the metal. You know, I think he's learned a lot from playing with Damage over the years.
Yeah, really starting to come into his own, though. It's good to see. You can see body language tells so much, man, so much. And Keith Brown's starting to look style out. Love it. So let's check in with Lauren Kelly.
I am in 187's pit right now with Eddie Painter. Now, you guys are having a rough time today, in the first day here in Chicago. You're down 4 points against Damage. What do you think you guys are struggling with the most that's stopping you from getting points on the board?
We aren't shooting anybody off the break, and we're not capitalizing on it. They're catching our wide guy, and they're just beating us down the snake every point. When this layout first came out, did you think it was going to play to your strengths? We've seen you be pretty aggressive before. Yeah, we were hoping that our break shooting would be a little better and that we'd be able to get that early G and make stuff happen, but so far we've been asleep.
Have you guys talked about adjusting any of your plays or strategies to try to get some points here?
Yeah, pretty much every point because none of it's working, so.
All right, we'll see if they can figure it out. They're down 4 points right now. We got 40 seconds. We'll see if 187 can get a point on Damage.
Well, no one can say that Eddie Painter is not an honest man, because that was a pretty accurate assertion as to what was going on with that team right now. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't have broke it down any better.
Yeah, he's. I've seen that kid's come a long way.
Yeah, he has. Eddie Painter's a talent, man.
Yep.
He's a great 2, great 3. Fearless. So, and at least they know what's going on. That's step 1, is figure out what the issue is. Since those issues are blatantly apparent, you know, hopefully they'll be able to adjust. It's tough to adjust mid-game, though, man. You know, Todd, you know how hard it is. If things are falling apart, it's kind of tough to make that happen on the fly.
Yeah.
That's what timeouts are for.
Oh, major penalty getting thrown right now on number 22. That's Thomas Mantoni drawing a major. So they're going to be down 3 players, 4 players.
I think only one body left alive.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Not anymore.
But yeah, Thomas Mantoni drawing a major penalty on the break on that game. And losing one quick thereafter, down to 2 players right away, and then losing a fourth player right away.
Well, it looks Damage is the beatings will continue until morale improves. These guys are just dominating right now out there. It's not even close at this point, as Tampa Bay Damage is just decimating them at every level of the game right now. And you know, with the way the Crew's played, the way they played Infamous in that relegation game, and what we've seen at them so far, I expect them to pick it back up here. The most important thing for them is not to get mentally defeated. It's tough, you know. You have to take your lumps out there with a smile, because that's the only way forward, man. If you get down on yourself, it's just going to compound the confusion. Yeah, and you know, you can kind of see it on their faces right now. They're mentally defeated. You know, you're in the pits right now with Tampa Bay Damage. You know, they're high spirits. But of course, when you're up 5-0, it's kind of hard not to be. They're playing pretty well. They're shooting great lanes in the break. They're capitalizing on those Gs on the break. And unfortunately for 187, they just don't have time to react too quick, because Damage is just getting down that field so quick to shut everything down. Yeah, so, well, upTon 187 Crew down by 5, 13:33 on the clock. And after this game, Dynasty is going to be taking on X Factor in a Titan match. So we'll be right back after this.
Being a snake player, diving around a lot, you're crawling a lot, and the Geo can outstand my beating it up down the snake. I can shoot straighter with that gun than I've ever shot in my life. The bunkers are getting smaller and smaller. You really need to play tighter and tighter. Having a small gun like a Geo 3 has helped me evolve my game and be able to play tight spots. My name is Billy Bernaccia. I play for San Antonio X Factor. My gun is a Geo 3.
Shooting on the break is what I do. The Vanquish has a pressure-balanced spool valve firing engine. This makes the Vanquish smooth, accurate, and consistent. A recipe for domination on the break. My name's Travis Lemansky. I play for Team Infamous, and the Vanquish takes my game to another level.
Well, the story of this game so far has been a complete and utter domination by a Tampa Bay Damage who looks like they want to win a tournament. upTon 187 Crew, the talented youngsters on that team, not able to find their form thus far at this event, as it looks like they may drop this game and go 0-2 their first day. But hey, man, playing Dynasty and Damage, two teams, I mean,
it's rough.
That's tough. But you got to beat the best to be the best. It's the cliche for a reason. So we got to say it. Yeah, man, upTon 187 Crew, when they watch this, they cannot hang their heads low. That team is definitely has some potential, but these are the types of battles they're going to have to fight to get to that promised land one day.
Yeah, they're down to 2 players already, and another major penalty coming on Dan Zaleski. That's gonna definitely put the nail in the coffin for this point, let alone the whole game.
Yeah, that's gonna make a game point here. Damage.
So that's gonna actually it's 6. It'll go up 6-0 now, but they're gonna have 2 major penalties. And coming out, if you can't come out 5-on-5 against Damage, you're probably not going to come out very well on 3-on-5.
No.
Just saying.
No.
Just throwing that out there.
I mean, I think somebody's standing on the coffin with a fully automatic nail gun.
That was a great analogy, Todd.
Man, how have we not thought of that one yet after a couple of years?
Seriously.
There was none of this tink, 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 tink. None of that.
No chisels.
No.
He's got like Thor's hammer with some 10-penny nails. Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get a better game out of this next one coming at you as San Diego Dynasty is going to play their second game and X Factor their second game. And that's, like I said it before, battle of two titans. Dynasty coming off their series victory from last year, their win at the last tournament. X Factor is very hungry, especially because they ended up dropping that first game. So they're now in a must-win situation to keep their hopes alive. And they are last year's world champions. So they got the same roster except better. So, that's anybody's game. But again, Dynasty is undefeated in the prelims this season, and they've only lost one game all year in the PSP. So, Dynasty looking like the favorites here. You really can't call it any other way, to be honest.
Yeah, but, Dynasty pretty much cruised through their first game against upTon 187. Weren't really tested. X Factor definitely were tested by Houston Heat over there. So
there's that replay from that last one. There's Zaleski diving in on that major, trying to see where he got hit. We're kind of in a bad angle to see where that hit's coming from.
It was in the inside. The judge was actually calling him out. I think that was a little overzealous on that major right away. He was getting called out from the inside judge, and the outside judge just kind of made it a call. And, so.
Well, let's check in with Lauren before we get to what could potentially be the last point.
I am down here in Damage's pit with Tim Probst. Now, you guys, this is pretty much a blowout. You've got 6 points on the board in less than 7 minutes. What mistakes do you think 187 is making today? They haven't really gotten many points at all.
I don't think they're getting 5 alive on the break anywhere. We're sweet spotting good on this game, so if they just adjust next game and make it to 5 spots alive and 5 on 5, then they'd have a better chance.
Besides getting out 5 alive, which obviously is really important, what are other things that teams need to try to accomplish once they get their 5 alive on the bunkers? Are there certain lanes they should be shooting, or what's the best strategy?
Just more working together. This field, if you can trap people, as long as you're 2-on-1 everywhere, then you're going to win the game. So I'd say just working together as a team is probably the best, more important thing.
All right, we are 6-0 right now. Damage is up. We'll see if 187 can get a point on the board.
Well, it'd be a huge morale boost, even if they lose this match, which is most likely going to happen, for upTon to mount some sort of comeback right now. Prove that to themselves, most importantly, that they can get 5 alive on this field, that they can work together and push forward. It's just tough, man. Damage is on it right now. They're looking really good.
Yeah, they're playing fast, shooting great lanes in the break, being very disciplined, and when they do get a shot or two, like I talked about, they're capitalizing on it almost immediately. So, and unfortunately, it's just hard to react when you have, Timothy Props and Boucher just running down the field, down your throat.
The sharks are feeding?
Yeah, exactly. It's Shark Week. So, but, we'll see. I've seen, actually, 187 is one of those teams that actually has been up by 6 points and lost to Moscow Red Legion at one time. So let's hope they can turn that around for themselves here. However, it is 3-on-5 against Damage, so.
Yeah. It's not looking good. Let's put it that way. So on the breakout here, it looks like Dan Holiday gets shot trying to scurry into Snake 1. So now that evens it up a little bit as upTon was able to get their 3 bodies out alive, 2 bodies on those penalties, and it looks like another body drops. So now it's evened up, actually. It's 3-on-3.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier. Todd, you said that Rusty Glaze said it the best. Go out there like every point is its own match. And even it up. It doesn't take you but a second to even it up here, but. And, going to the 50 Dorito, you see at the top of your screen right now.
Dalton Vanderbilt jumping into that 50 Dorito, trying to put in work for my fantasy team. Got Jason Edwards behind him and Chad Bougere.
Oh, nice shot across the field. You see that, Todd?
Yeah, Chad Bougere crawls into Snake 1, gets a shot across the field, but then takes one in the top of the head. So I believe just 1 body left alive, and I think there he's going to go out of that Dorito side corner. So. Is Lazat still alive?
No, there's 5 seconds left in his penalty, so.
Just going to wait, let him come out of the box.
I think he's going to. I'm not sure what side he's going to come out.
Comes out Snake side, gets a rope in, and then tries to get out wide. Can't do it. He gets taken out.
He would have been better off, I think, just diving out towards the Snake. I'd go to the corner.
Well, even though Damage lost bodies, Dalton was like, well, I'm not letting this happen.
Yeah.
And same with Chad before he ended up getting taken out. Chad got 2 confirmed. Jason got 1. And curtains for upTon 187 crew here in this match.
So right now, up to 187, not looking good, only scoring 1 point this whole tournament so far. 1 point against Dynasty, and then none right now against Tampa Bay Damage. So they're going to be quite the deficit going into tomorrow's games.
And that gives Damage a huge advantage on their point spread.
It does, for sure.
Well, we'll see what happens in this Dynasty X Factor game. But right now, you know, they ended up +1 in the first, +7. So now they're sitting 2-0 with a +8.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really take anything away from these guys. They played this game pretty stellar. You know, they had them on their heels the whole game, Todd.
Yeah, I mean, there was no chance out here. Here's Chad Bougier getting that good shot in on the Dorito 1. And then here he's going to go all the way and get shot right on top of the head.
That's a bummer.
Well, he did the, like, look to the sky, walk off, too. Like,
yeah.
Oh, man, really? I got clipped there? All right. I shot 2 guys already, so I did my work. So that is going to be curtains for this game. Final score, 7-0. But coming up next, San Diego Dynasty taking on San Antonio X Factor. And these are these games we really like to watch because, you know, flip the coin. Can X Factor take down Dynasty and give Dynasty their first prelim loss of the year and go 1-1, preserve their chances to try to fight to get to Sunday? Or is Dynasty going to take down the 2013 reigning world champs and go 2-0 themselves? And there's the schedule for the rest of the day. Then after the last game of the morning bracket we just talked about, and we're going to start the afternoon bracket. Chicago Aftershock, man. Love watching Aftershock play. It's probably my favorite team to watch play right now. And then they're playing Moscow Red Legion. Red Legion back into the Champions Division. And after that, these are all Central Time. 3 o'clock, Edmonton Impact taking on Omaha Vicious. Then 3:45, Los Angeles Ironmen playing their first game against Moscow Red Legion. Then Shock and Vicious and Impact and the LA Ironmen to close the day out. And let's check in with Lauren real quick.
Hey guys, I am here with Paul Everett and Dalton Vanderbilt of Damage. Congratulations, you guys got that 7-0. I think in under 10 minutes. It was a really fast match. When you first saw this layout, obviously you saw the A was opposite and everything. What first jumped out at you, and what did you think of the layout coming into this weekend?
I like seeing the X like that because you can read them on the gate a lot better and adjust your sweet spot stream before they're even running. See 3 line up one way, and we're like, okay, we'll put an extra gun over there.
All right, kind of break down your breakouts for me. Is it tough to get into bunkers? It seems like the view would be really narrow to see people. Is it hard to shoot people off the break, or how does it play out there?
Well, yeah, the guys running outside, I mean, I think we're making it pretty easy. It's pretty hard for the guys laning because they have to run, what is that, like 20 yards to the nearest bunker. So I feel like the guys really getting shot are the guys, you know, are the laners, and the guys making it outside pretty easy. So.
You're back on the Dorito side this weekend. How do you feel the Dorito side plays? Do you think it's stronger than the Snake side? Are they pretty even?
Yes, finally on the Doritos. But no, it is pretty even. I mean, both sides are really aggressive, which plays to my strong side. I like to play aggressive, so I mean, both sides are really aggressive, but however, I don't like to be my head down in the Snake. I'd rather be standing up, so I love the Doritos, yeah.
All right, well, you're back on the Dorito side. What about those tall bunkers? Does that make it more difficult, or do you actually think the 50 line is easier this time around?
I mean, it's hard because all the tall bunkers in the center of the field, so there's not those cross-field shots. You're really playing straight ahead, you know, the guys in front of you, so.
All right, well, next up is Dynasty versus X Factor. Dynasty playing well as always. X Factor is definitely going to want to win this one. Who do you think is going to take it, Paul?
I like to root for X Factor.
All right, we'll see if he's right. Dynasty versus X Factor. Stay tuned.
So before we get to the afternoon competition, let's take a look at a couple highlights from the morning competition. There's Chad Bougier using that burst speed to get all the way down the Snake. Actually, it's just from the last game here. And that's the thing with Damage, man. They are a very, very quick team. They have a lot of depth. Then we saw that move from Zaleski. Look at that route. Ran the good route right to the bunker, but got picked up right at that last second. Would have been a good move if Keith Brown was looking towards down that wire, but he wasn't. Look at it from the flip side. Again, even if it doesn't work, run the right route. So, you know, Zaleski trying to do anything he possibly could. It wasn't looking good for them at that point, trying to make a dynamic move to turn the momentum of that point, but it didn't work. And then Chad Bougier again. You know, Chad, normally a D-side player, but switching on over, he got that kill. And then he's going to dive in here, and I think he gets shot. Yeah, he got clipped right there on the top of his head. So, It was all Tampa Bay Damage in that last game. But before we get to the afternoon bracket, let's check in with Lauren.
Hey guys, I just wanted to bring you a quick update from the Challenger field. The first match over there was Infamous versus Boom. Boom lost their first match here on the champion field, and they also lost to Infamous 7-1. Infamous pretty took that match the entire time. They don't love being over there. They've told me, I've talked to them a few times, but they feel pretty confident that they'll be fine and they'll be bumping back up. Now on that field is Top Gun versus Red Storm. Red Storm won their first match, as did Union, so we'll see who takes that one. Coming up here on the champion field is going to be Dynasty versus X Factor. Dynasty won their first match. X Factor is going to be hungry for a win as they lost their first match, so stay tuned. It's going to be a good one.